Welcome everybody back to the Nuggets of Gold podcast and YouTube channel. So for today's video, I am going to be previewing and giving my predictions for this 49ers Cardinals game. Now, before I get into anything related to the game, I need to go over the injury report. Because the matchups and whatnot are going to be very, very affected. This is a game, especially for the Cardinals. They have a lot of a lot of key players that might be not playing. The big one this week is this is going to be their first week without J.J. Watt. And then the two guys, game time decisions for each of these two, DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. So obviously, those are three superstar caliber players that could potentially be out for the Cardinals. It could look a lot different of a game, having Colt McCoy and not a bad receiving core, but a receiving core without DeAndre Hopkins on the offensive side. So it could be really, really pivotal. It could really change the line in this game, make it very like heavy favorites for the 49ers if that's the case, if you don't have Kyler Murray. I mean, and that makes absolute sense. I think many Cardinals fans would agree with that as well. But other guys, Max Garcia, he's questionable for the Cardinals. For the 49ers, Trent Williams is off of the injury report. That is a big deal for the Niners. Couple guys out, though. Maurice Hurst, Jimmy Ward, and Dee Ford, they are all out. So pretty big issue there for the Niners. Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel are questionable. Now, Deebo Samuel's had a calf injury or a quad. I forgot exactly what he has, but I think it's calf because he had the same injury as Kittle. Yeah. So calf injury, it's been pretty tough for him because it sounds like the injury is just progressively getting worse and worse. Maybe we see him shut down for a couple weeks. Don't know if that's going to be the case. Elijah Mitchell, they really need him, and we'll see how that all plays out. But for this game, I'll start with the 49ers side on offense. I think it's a game where they should be expected to put up a good amount of points, hang on to the time of possession, and really outgain the Cardinals. They need to be able to run the football all over them. Having a healthy Trent Williams, a healthy George Kittle to go with, I mean, it depends who's in the backfield. Jeff Wilson, Trey Sermon, or Elijah Mitchell, any combination of those guys, because another guy that's on the injury report is Jeff Wilson. Don't know if he's going to be activated off of IR and play this week, but could definitely happen. So whoever's run the ball, we've seen for the Niners, running back by committee, it's kind of whoever's up. If it's Elijah Mitchell, he has had a absolutely fantastic season. Huge pickup in the 6th round for the Niners. If it's not him, I still expect Trey Sermon to have a good game. And Jeff Wilson, if he's back as well. Last year, he had a great game against the Cardinals. So the 49ers should be able to run the football on the Cardinals. They're missing J.J. Watt, and in the last matchup, he was an absolute nightmare. I don't think he recorded a sack, but literally haunted Trey Lance that game. It was terrible. Every time he's breaking through, McGlinchey was getting absolutely destroyed by him. So you're going to need to see a much better performance from Mike McGlinchey in this game, but also it's a lot easier when you're not going up against J.J. Watt for the most part. So that's going to be a huge part of this game. Then looking at the Cardinals offense, it's going to really depend on if Kyler Murray is playing. If Colt McCoy is playing, though, he did a good job last year. He actually, when he was on the Giants, he did beat the Seahawks. So he had a decent outing. Now, they only scored like 14 or 17 points, something like that. They didn't have a great offensive day, but they did win the game. I don't think he's a terrible backup quarterback. I think he's probably on the upper end of backup quarterbacks in the league. He's been around for a long time. He was a guy that was pretty famous in college when I was growing up. So it's funny that he's, the name's still around. I don't think it's obviously a massive drop-off, but I don't think it's you're putting in a backup quarterback that you have no shot with. I don't think that's the case. I still think that the Cardinals offense, if they don't have Kyler, if they don't have DeAndre Hopkins, I think they would have a decent enough day. Now, the biggest thing for the 49ers is they're going to need to force a couple turnovers. Not having Jimmy Ward in the secondary is so big. Not gonna make it seem like the Niners have less injury issues than the Cardinals, but not having Jimmy Ward is massive. No Kowalski Tart, so their secondary, Tavon Wilson, Talanoa Hufanga, not exactly the best coverage guys on the back end in a secondary that's already struggled a lot. So if Kyler Murray's playing, I think they're going to be able to move the ball through the air very effectively. We saw last time that they played, DeAndre Hopkins did have a great game. Either way, if he's not playing, I still think Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk, AJ Green actually might not be playing either. But Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk, they have guys that can go and perform. So I think either way, they're going to do pretty good against the 49ers offensively. Now, if the Niners can control the ball on offense, force a couple turnovers on defense, that could definitely be the difference in this game. I think it's going to be – it's hard to tell because I think either way the 49ers should actually win this game. The Cardinals have not played the Niners super well the last few weeks. It's not like they haven't played them well, but it seems like they were playing them a lot better, like in 2019 and 2018 back then. But this year, or earlier this year, it was a really close game. The offensive line played horrible, and the Niners were still in it. They had Trey Lance starting first career game by the rawest player ever at quarterback to start a football game, or an NFL game. So pretty crazy there. I think it's going to be a little closer than people think if Colt McCoy's there. But even if Kyler's playing, I actually expect the Niners to win. If it's Colt McCoy, I'll say the 49ers win 27-17. Actually, no, 27-14. And if Kyler Murray's playing, I think the Cardinals are going to put up points a little bit quicker, have some quicker drives where they're able to explode on offense. And I'll say for this case as well, let's say DeAndre Hopkins is also active come game time, plays a decent amount, maybe not normal DeAndre Hopkins, but he's in there. I think I would go 49ers 31, Cardinals 27. So I think it's going to be a good game if that's the case. I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray. I think he's one of a really, really good quarterback in the league. But we'll see how it all plays out this week. Definitely, if anyone's not thinking Kyler Murray's top 10, I really got to disagree with you though on that. I think he's probably a top 8 guy. He's really, really special. So if he's on the field, it makes a tremendous difference. However, the 49ers have played him really well. I expect a big game from a couple guys. I think the biggest guy I think is going to have a huge game is Fred Warner. He's played really well in these Cardinals games. So if he has a good game, 49ers going to be a good spot to win this one. But really excited. I think secondary-wise, that's where the Cardinals are going to really pick the Niners apart. Josh Norman, Emmanuel Mosley. Now, nickel, Niners are doing pretty well with K'Wan Williams, but Josh Norman was getting torched last time around by DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see how it all plays out. But defensively, I think that's where they're going to struggle. But at the end of the day, football, even though it's transitioned a little bit, but for what the Niners want to do, they want to win in the trenches, and I think they have a big advantage in the trenches this week. And I think they're going to control the time of possession. I think that's going to really be the difference in this one. Cardinals defense, not great against the run. Last time, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Lance as well had a great day on the ground. So hopefully that will continue. That's been the case in a lot of these 49ers Cardinals games in the last couple of years where the 49ers are able to really win on the ground. If they do that, I think they're going to win. I think they're going to control the game, get off to an early lead. That was something earlier on this year was the Niners were really, really struggling with. If they can do that, they should be able to maintain that lead, whether Colt McCoy or Kyler Murray is the quarterback. But we'll see how it all plays out. Let me know what you guys think is the game's going to kind of look like in the comments. If there's any matchup, like specifically, I know I didn't go like super deep in the matchup just because it's kind of so up and there with this one. It's tough. But is there anything that you think, hey, this is something that either the Niners or the 49ers are going to really exploit? Let me know what you think that is. But you can do it for today's episode. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you after the game, doing a quick recap, reacting to the game after that. So thank you all, and I'll talk.